Welcome to Death and Aliens, an in-depth look at horror and sci-fi TV from two friends who vaguely know what they're doing. I'm MK,
And I'm Courtney.
and how are you?
Merry Christmas!
Merry Christmas!
Woo! Well,
Yay!
it's not,
Well,
but it is when you hear this.
yes.
We are
Merry
still in this
Christmas,
road.
friends.
I'm still working on the clothes at the office. We're still in the holiday season at the bar. I am currently falling apart as a person, but I'm great. I am also presenting myself with rewards for being alive. I have gotten my FabFitFun box. None of these are ads, and I've gotten them all from ads. So, um, FabFitFun, I get some great blue light glasses, some like new slippers, and all kinds of fun stuff.
Nice.
Great new
I,
eye palette, and I got a Universal Yums box, which sends you treats from all over the world. And I got their holiday edition one.
nice.
Holiday treats from like 9 different countries.
It's so exciting. I love that.
I'm
I
thriving. How are you?
I'm pretty good. I bought my first Christmas presents today.
Oh, I didn't do that yet.
Um, so far, I've gotten one of the things I'm getting for Dan, which is probably too much. He was said something about like a spending limit, and I go, that one thing I'm getting you costs more than that. And he was like, oh God. I go, please don't compare because I do stupid shit. I was like, I spent over $150 on your going first day of school presents just because I was sad that you were teaching at a different school. Please don't ever think that our gifts have to be equal in financial value. Like, that's just not who I am.
What did you get him?
I was like, I can't tell you. No, but just kidding. I forgot this comes out on Christmas, so he'll have already seen it. So the one that I've already ordered that I already paid for, it's a 500-piece puzzle, but it's a picture of us, and it says I love you forever, will not be.
That's so cute.
Mhm. And then um I'm getting him this one. I'm getting him kind of for Christmas, but like kind of not, because I'm getting him like River Song's diary, but I'm gonna write letters to him through a whole thing.
Stop. That's so precious.
And then the other one, oh, and then the other one I'm just getting him fucking silicone tipped kitchen tools because he doesn't have
Oh
shit in
yeah.
his he doesn't have shit in his kitchen.
I forgot we already talked about that.
Yeah, he needs fucking kitchenware. I can't stand it.
That's so precious. I don't know if anyone's getting anything from me this year. So Merry Christmas. I'm sorry if I didn't get you anything.
Oh, but then I did. I also got his mom a necklace. It's just like it's like a pretty like simple necklace, but it comes in a box that has like this whole letter inside the box about like when you fall in love with someone, like you don't ever know what their family's going to be like, but like it's because of you that he's such a good man and like all this stuff. It's so
Aw.
cute.
That's so you're going pretty hard for year one. Like,
I need to make a good impression. I plan on being married to him before this next Christmas, which not really.
you're
But
not gonna be nice next Christmas. Is that what you're saying? Because like this
no, no,
is
no, I'm always gonna be nice, but like I don't know. I'm sappy and weird and gooey and in love with him. It's gross.
you're just gonna try and overdo it next year, and then you're gonna run out of places to go.
That's fair. I mean,
Yeah,
to be fair, last Christmas I overdid it and I didn't even like him.
that's true. But also, he's gone now, so it doesn't matter. Wait,
Yeah.
yeah, I don't remember.
No, no, my fucking no, my for with Dan, I tried to overdo it.
What'd you do? What'd you get for Dan?
I was his secret Santa for school.
Oh, that's right. Well, that was fine because you didn't know that you were gonna like be buying him Christmas presents again this year.
Yeah, I know.
You
But
thought that was
like
like a one-time deal.
I thought it was a one-time deal and I spent way too much money. And then I was like joking. I was like, Mom, you know how I spent too much money on Secret Santa last year and I swore I wasn't going to do it this year? She goes, oh God, did you get Carrie? I said, worse. She said, because Carrie's my aunt. She goes, oh my God, did you get Rachel? I was like, yeah, I did. Fucked.
Yeah.
So yeah. Just gonna have no money. It's totally fine.
It happens. It's totally fine.
Yeah. How about you? Oh no, you already told me how your life
It's
is,
fine.
right?
I'm gonna have money and just not spend it on anything but food
Oh,
and
that's right. Yeah,
apparently
I
medicine.
said,
No.
how are you? And you said Merry Christmas. And I was like, that's all you had for your life.
No, I have all my presents that I bought myself.
Good. Good, good, good.
I tried some really delicious. They have, oh my gosh, I think it was from Spain. They have truffle popcorn and it's like a corn nut in the middle of like truffle chocolate.
Oh,
Dude, dude. I was gonna share them with Noelle and I ate them all before I left the office.
yeah.
So she didn't get any. She didn't really like sweets anyway, so it was okay. But like I was gonna let her try them. And then I
It's
did.
okay.
So,
Yeah.
but yeah, I'm fine. I'm slowly unraveling today. I've been very sick today. Um, this is the last episode before next week, so
Yes. So we're
I'll
doing
be
it.
good. I'll be fine. And I'm having a lovely Christmas at my parents' right now. So
Yes.
where I've rested for an entire week.
Beautiful. I will have not rested at all yet because I teach all the way until the 23rd.
Well, I go home the 15th because Rachel's wedding is the 17th. So I go home the 15th and then I'll have like 3 stressful days. And then Sunday, I'm staying at my aunt's for a couple of days. Then I'll go to my parents for about a week.
Well, I teach until the 23rd, and then the 24th, 25th, 26th is going to be stressful because it's like actual Christmas. And then I work on the 27th. So
I feel like no Christmas break.
I don't. And I also work on the 29th and the 30th, I think.
I'm sure I'll be back. I'm sure I work the 28th, 30th, or the 29th and the
Yeah.
31st.
Yeah.
So
So I don't have a Christmas break. I don't have a life. I don't do anything except for work and do this. And while I'm doing this, I'm still working. So, like,
totally fine.
it's fine. We're good.
I
We're
would
good.
be if I was not having to take nap breaks in between everything.
Yes, between episodes, just for insider info, between episodes, Courtney takes power naps while I continue doing work.
Yes, yes. It's so I can
Courtney,
make it through my day.
Courtney, it is Christmas, so I was hoping that for Christmas you have a very special piece of spiritual advice for us.
You know, I have two special pieces for us
Good,
because I don't know if I've read either of these. So if I have, they're both meant to be for today anyways.
beautiful.
I choose to see the future as beautiful, as possible, as more than I could ever imagine. That's the fire in my heart and the purpose that moves me forward. It will be difficult and I will make plenty of mistakes. But through it all, I will keep my belief that there is good in this world and that there are plenty of adventures still waiting to be lived, and I plan to live them all. Topher Kirby.
Beautiful. I love that.
And as a quick follow up quip to it, this one I may have read. Maybe the journey isn't so much about becoming anything. Maybe it's about unbecoming everything that isn't really you, so you can be who you were meant to be in the first place.
I love that. You haven't read that. That's beautiful.
Oh, great. Well, then we get two spiritual notions today
Beautiful.
about becoming who we're meant to be.
Which actually, weirdly, ties really well into this whack ass episode.
Well, congrats at tying anything into this episode because
I actually really like this episode.
it's like good, but like so.
Yeah. So,
I'll tell you my faults later.
so we're talking about Stargate SG1, season 2, episode 19. One false step.
Which sounds much more daunting than it actually is.
Correct. It was rated 6.7 stars, which is in fact tied for the lowest of the season.
Which
I do understand. I don't dislike the episode, but I do think it deserves to be the lowest of the season. Like
I
that's
agree.
it came out on February 19th, 1999. The number one song was Angel of Mine
It came out
by
what day?
February 19th, 1999.
I thought you said 13th, and I was like, the last one came out on the 12th. I was like, that's
Oh,
not quite
yes.
right.
No, 19th. The number one song was Angel of Mine by Monica. Again, I'm not a big Monica person. She was doing her thing in the late 1990s, and I was not a part of it.
Oh, you missed out. You were not at
I
the party.
did. I did. It was the same book as previously. And the number one movie was Message in a Bottle,
Okay.
which is Nicholas Sparks' book turned movie starring Kevin Costner and Robin Wright. It is actually the first ever Nicholas Sparks that I saw the movie before I read the book.
Mm, I saw most of his before I read the book, except Dear John
Nope. I
and
saw this
Millennium.
movie. I saw this movie probably 2002, 2003, and
Mhm.
it kind of kicked off my like obsession with Nicholas Sparks
Mm.
books because then
See,
I saw this movie and I really really loved it and then I read the book and then I like wormholed and read everything.
yeah, see, I watched the first one I watched was A Walk to Remember.
Oh, you
And
know what? No, I Walk to Remember I watched without reading the book. Absolutely, because I watched that every day of my life for the first 100 years. I don't know. I'm obsessed with that movie.
I also love that movie.
There. I could not find anything super interesting that happened in the news this day. So I was like, you know what? I'm gonna do something weird. And I'm gonna just like keep digging into archives to see what I could possibly find. And I went on to the Playbill database for the
Oh,
Broadway season of 1998, 1999, just to see what was going on. And in fact, there was a show that started previews on February 19th, 1999.
excellent.
It was the 1999 revival of A Lion in Winter, starring Stockard Channing and Lawrence Fishburne, and it began previews on this day.
Okay, and then Lawrence Fishburne lived on Broadway till the day he dies.
Correct.
He's still there. He was just in a play last season.
Yeah, he was. And actually someone else, oh, Neil Hull, I think, was in this revival, and he's been in a boatload of stuff recently. And there was somebody else who was in this revival who's not on Broadway right now, but is about to be in something that's opening in 2023. So I was like, all right, cool, cool, cool. I mean, and I love Stockard Channing,
Yeah,
so love it.
on Broadway.
Also, in things that are weird, this episode was directed by a guy named Bill Corcoran. Um, he
Corcoran,
Corcoran, Corcoran.
is he related to Barbara Corcoran of Shark Tank fame, of who started the real estate company Corcoran Real Estate in New York that then took over the world?
You know, could be. I did not actually look into his personal life at all because I didn't care. Um, he directed an episode of MacGyver. He's best known for the TV movies A Brother's Promise and Dancing in the Dark, and absolutely nothing else he directed had I ever recognized.
Bless his heart.
It was written by Michael Kaplan and John Sintern. Sanborn? Sanborn is what that supposedly says. That's not what I wrote.
Michael Kaplan is
Um,
returning. Is that right?
what?
Michael Kaplan, have we heard him before?
Nope. These are both entirely new. They both have only about 10 credits and are best known for this episode and for creating a video game together where they wrote the story called Psychic Detective.
Ooh, I'm into
Um,
it.
Basically, this episode was made by Misfits because I know nothing about the director, we know nothing about the writers, and then the guest star, the only guest star I could find anything about was this guy named Colin Heath. I honestly could not tell you who he was the guest star of. He might have been one of the aliens. He might have just been a random dude on the base. No idea. He only had 9 credits. He was known for the show A Voyage of the Unicorn.
This is everything is adding up as to how
Yeah.
this episode
But
ended.
he was in 3 episodes of Tin Man.
That show you like.
I do love that show. Um, but yeah, so this is just weird. Just top to bottom weird.
So welcome to your Christmas fever dream show, because that's what we're.
Yes. That's what I was telling my mom when we were watching it last night, and I was like, I hate this because this season keeps doing this thing where it gives you like a really, really intense story arc plot episode and then drops off into nothing. And then it gives you another one, and then, and they're not bad episodes. Like, Spirits was a good episode. It was a great episode, actually, completely unrelated to anything else that we did. The there was a cut then and but then so we went from the Tok'ra to that, and then we did Touchstone, which brought in all of these big like questions, and then we dropped into something else that was stupid, and then we did the fifth race, and then we did something else that was stupid, and it just keeps doing this like oscillating thing. And my mom was like, "But that's the cool part. These are the missions that we never get, like that people don't get to see." And I go, "I don't care about the missions." She goes, "It's a sci-fi show." I go, "I don't. What?"
I know, I know.
So
That's
it
like I
is.
have that same critique on like watching the X-Files because I'm watching it from the beginning. For those of you who haven't listened to me say it every episode,
Yes.
um, we and they do like a monster of the week, and then they do like something like paranormal, and then they do something alien, and like so they have like these three kind of like things they fit into, and I'm like, if I never saw another monster of the week, I'd be okay with it.
Yeah.
Like I'm okay with just adding in paranormal and aliens and the X-Files. I don't need these creatures, but they're there.
I'm like, it's cool if Stargate literally never goes to another planet that doesn't have gold on it. I would not care.
Or the like doesn't tie in somehow to what we've already seen.
Yeah. But so we started this episode in the gate room with a UAV getting ready for launch. And apparently this is a UAV that is like a drone, and they've done all this cool stuff to make it be able to fly farther away from the gate. Because the one positive thing I will say about this episode is that for once, somebody has the brilliant idea that maybe the 42 feet we step out of the gate isn't the only fucking life on the planet.
Maybe there's a whole other world out there.
Just a thought. Um, so they fly this UAV out, and it's picking up heat signals, but then they completely lose all signal, and they crash into some kind of plant. And Sam is like, let's go get the computer so we can read the diagnostics and figure out like why it crashed. She's like, it's about 10 miles from the gate. And then Jack gets mad that they'd have to walk 10 miles. And my dad's like, don't they have a fucking military ATV? Why are they walking everywhere?
Yeah,
So,
very fair question.
right. So then this person, like,
I said, is that a
like,
naked running man?
it's like a naked running man with Pee Wee Herman's face, like, just walks up and steals the UAV. And then we go to the credits.
Another scene that I rewound like three times because like, what is happening? What am I watching?
Um, yeah, I didn't think I did any drugs yesterday, but like I'm not 100% sure.
I thought maybe I had caught a fever by the time I started this episode, and I'd entered into a different
That's
state.
fair because you were sick and dizzy and delirious, and I could not imagine not being in a bad headspace and then watching this episode.
Could you imagine? Could like I just was like, I have no idea what's going on.
Um, so the team goes back to the planet, and we have the absolute best moment of this entire episode. Like this entire episode is worth it for this joke
Oh, Tilk.
because Daniel says deja vu, and Teal'c says I am unfamiliar with this term. So Daniel explains deja vu, and he goes, "Ah, yes, that's because you were here just yesterday." And I was like, I'm obsessed with Teal'c. And today, one of my sixth graders told me that if he had to put an eighth grade yearbook quote today, this is what he would pick. And I was like, man, if I had to have a yearbook quote right now, what would I pick? And I told him that if I, on December 5th, 2022, had to make my
Oh
yearbook
no, you're
quote.
frozen.
No. Oh
I
my
was so
God.
ready to hear your quote.
Am I back? Am I back?
Oh, almost, almost. You're getting
Okay.
there. Okay.
If I had to on December 5th, 2022, choose a yearbook quote, it would be things will not calm down, Daniel Jackson. They will calm up. No, they will in fact calm up.
Yes. I love
Yeah.
it.
So I just yeah. Whole
Oh, I don't
episode
know what
where
mine would be. Uh, I'm sure I've heard something good lately.
yeah. Um when you think about it, let me know.
I will.
Also, you out there, tell me what your yearbook quote would be if you had to do it right now.
Yes.
Um So Sam tries to find the UAV and also starts taking like a sample from the plant that the UAV crashed into. Um, and they follow these drag marks to where the UAV was, and like it's where the aliens live, and they see one of the aliens. And Daniel's like, "Oh, they don't understand talking. Let's go see if they're friendly." And they just like crash into these people's village.
Yeah. Yeah, of course they're not.
Um,
Just crash
but
on their
then
village.
And also they run screaming away, which for like when the alien runs away from Daniel screaming into the village, it is an unnecessarily long amount of time. And also the best scene in the episode.
It's wild. I'm like, I'm telling you, I thought I was like, I have to have like dreamed this up. Like I cannot be watching a Stargate episode right now.
So they're trying to talk to these aliens that don't speak and just awkwardly scream and run while naked. And the aliens start to get like real weird and start touching them.
Now they're getting ready to explore.
And then one of them steals Daniel's knife, and Sam tries to get it back. And then, right as is about to get it back, Daniel sneezes, and it scares the aliens, and they cut her. And it's just like an absolute shit show. And they're all like afraid of Daniel sneezing.
Yeah, I was like, Daniel's gonna kill Sam from sneezing.
And so Daniel continues to try to communicate with them, but then he walks inside one of the houses, and they're in the middle of some weird painting ceremony. And they don't seem to be able to speak at all. So Daniel tries to draw them a picture, and they don't really know how to do that either. But then they put some paint on his face, and then Daniel starts running around pretending to be the UAV and making plane noises.
My God, I saw that. I was like, what are you doing? I like, what on earth? Oh,
Oh,
Daniel
mind you,
Jack.
everything I just said was like 5.5 minutes of this episode. Like, I don't know what's going on.
It was it was insane. I
Um,
literally was just I can't with this episode.
um, so Daniel goes back outside to Jack, and he's like, "Well, I give up. I can't communicate with them."
Well, if that's how you're trying to communicate, of course you can't communicate with them.
But apparently, him flying like a jet plane works because they bring him the UAV.
Mm-hmm,
Um, and then Daniel sneezes again, and one of the aliens just drops dead. Turns out he's not dead,
mm-hmm.
but um,
It was so like dramatic. I was like, what is happening? What is
and then they're like, we don't know what infected him. Was it like the lubricant from the UAV? Was it the sneeze? Was it Sam's blood? We're like, how is this man sick?
right?
Because then all the aliens start singing to try to like heal him, but then another one falls over, and like nothing makes sense.
I'm telling you, the only reason this even remotely makes sense is after you've explained to me who worked on this episode and what their other credits are. Like, that is the only reason I can be like, okay, I get there. Because they've also written other weird stuff.
The problem is this episode, it's weird. I'm not even gonna lie to you, it's fucking weird. And watching it is a fever dream. But about here, I maybe like 5, 10 minutes later, I figured out what the point of the episode was.
I,
The characters didn't figure it out until 38 minutes into the 44-minute episode.
well, to be fair, I didn't either. But
Oh,
I was also like sickly.
yeah.
And I was like,
Um,
I don't think I can see straight. And I have to figure out if I can get a car that's gonna be less than $40. So it's gonna take me home. And I was having a lot of
yeah,
this time.
which is fair. But you are also not a doctor,
I'm
correct?
also not a doctor, so like, yeah,
Um, so Teal'c is like, I think we should leave because I think we're the ones making them sick.
yeah,
And
smart.
Daniel's like, you're probably right, but also like they clearly don't know how to take care of themselves with this sickness because they don't know what it is, and we can't just like abandon them. Which
Also fair.
also correct. So Dr. Fraser and a med team arrive, and she's like worried about them reacting to her running tests, but everything seems fine. She tests them all, and she's like, I have to take them back to Earth because I have literally no idea what's going on, and I don't have the right tools here to do this.
Mhm, mhm.
Um, so Daniel's like, okay, well, I will stay and try to continue communicating with them, which she's done a great job of so far.
Right.
Um, and so Dr. Fraser is like, just okay, while you're here, also check the other villages, see if anyone else is already sick. And I paused it here because
Mhm.
I was like, I don't like this plan.
Right. Because like if they're not sick, now you're going to infect them all.
Right. I go, if they're not sick, then you know you did it. And also you are now infecting them. If they are sick, you might not have done it, but also like you don't know for sure. Like we don't and my mom was like, yeah, but like here's the thing, and she was like explaining their logic. I go, okay, I got the logic. I understand the strategy. I think for a high level military, their risk management choices not ideal.
I think I would wait to figure out like what happened with the first group of people before we start
Before
expanding to other groups of people.
Yeah, I agree. I don't like it at all, but you know,
Mhm.
I'm not in charge. Um, so back at SGC, Sam is explaining the singing to Janet. I don't know. Then we go back to the alien planet, and Teal'c and Jack go to find the next village, and Jack falls down. And he says he has a headache, but he's gonna be fine, which is the first sign that the aliens are not the only ones that are sick. Something is wrong.
Right, right.
Then we go to the back to the XGC in the infirmary, and the alien starts screaming.
Yeah, it's very low.
Yeah, so the ladies are running more tests because sometimes Sam just pretends she's a medical doctor, not an astrophysicist, when we need more medicine on the show.
Right.
And they find an organ that's like weirdly beating like a heart in the alien's pelvis that they have no idea what it is. Um, so that's fucking weird. Um,
We just needed things to get weirder in this episode.
right,
That's
because
all.
we weren't already literally high.
Right.
Um, so Daniel's at the village and he sees this plant that's like shrinking back down into the ground, and Jack and Felix are like, "What the fuck are you talking about?" Um, but then Teal'c's like, "But it's okay because it's probably not us because the other aliens are also sick in the other villages."
Doesn't mean it wasn't you.
Yeah, no, for sure
But
doesn't. Um, and then Jack and Daniel just start like screaming at each other.
this was my like I know he said he had a headache earlier, but this was my first like indication of like, oh no, everyone is sick now because they were just like losing it at each other.
Yeah, and like, granted, I don't think either of them were wrong,
No,
but
they
like,
weren't.
Yeah,
Usually they're a little more tactful about it too.
yeah. Um, and so then Jack tells Teal'c he has to go back to the gate, to report on something, but like also I don't. That was a useless little bit of a scene because we didn't see anything. Um, but obviously he was successful because Hammond reports back to Janet and Sam to tell them what happened, and they're all kind of just like resigned to the fact that they're basically like living the smallpox life.
Hmm.
Like they're basically like, we could not narrow down what the fuck we introduced to these people. And Hammond's like, honestly, like we all knew this was could potentially happen. And Janet's like, I'm surprised it hasn't fucking happened 87 times by now. Like,
I mean, to be fair, it was like maybe in a bit of a obtuse way. It felt like it was like a comment on colonialism. Like,
yeah, no, for sure. No, that's exactly what it was. Like, it was not well done, and it was because this episode was weird and it like didn't actually have a consequence. But it was kind of comment on like we have not taken any precautions, just like
right. And
bounding
like,
up into these. And Janet says she's like, well, part of it's because there's so many planets that are like populated by humans that have been like transported. But also, if the humans were transported in ancient Egypt, they don't have immune systems. Like
right,
it's the same thing. Like the smallpox situation, the Europeans and the Native Americans were both fucking human. Like one of them wasn't an alien. They just
right,
had never been exposed to that disease before.
right. And like, it's like the writers spent more time trying to make the connection to make the comment on society because when done right, it's really good. But they just kind of missed the point of like, hey, we're also writing a Stargate episode as opposed to just trying to make a comment on society.
Yeah. But Janet and Sam are like, we don't want to give up. Like, we gotta help these people. It's not their fault. Um, so Jack and Daniel, we go back and Jack and Daniel are like coming to blows again. They're like screaming at each other again, but they're also both like recognizing that they don't feel right,
Yeah, they're both getting headaches now.
which like good on them for like not letting the anger take over. Like they're angry and they're yelling, but they're like, that's not me. I'm not like that. And they're like able to process that, which is like more emotional intelligence than most men have. So like good on
Very
them.
true.
Um, and so like Teal'c is like, well, I haven't been affected. I'm fine. I'll stay on the planet and like you guys go back to get checked out by the nurse. And Daniel's like, okay, but can you watch my plants while I'm gone?
Yeah,
He's like, can you keep an eye on it? He said, I will keep both eyes on it, Daniel
right.
Jackson.
But like, also, whenever Tilt keeps talking, Jack's like, he's like, do you feel unwell? He's like, well, I do have a headache. And he's like, could you just stop talking?
Yeah.
Like, poor Tilt.
So Daniel, as soon as they're back at SGC, they like suddenly start to feel better. And then they like awkwardly try to apologize, but like don't know how to speak to each other. And then Janet's like, cool, there's nothing wrong with you. And then they're kind of also like upset that nothing's wrong with them because that means that they were just assholes for no reason. And they were like,
Right, right.
great, cool. Um, so oh, the alien starts crashing, and they don't know how to revive him because they don't know what his um organ systems are.
Right. And he
So
keeps
that's
screaming.
yeah.
Gotta do stuff, yeah.
But then back on the planet, the plants grow really tall again, and then they shrink when Teal'c gets close. And he discovers some like root system and touches it and starts to have a killer migraine and just like pass out.
Yeah.
Right. Um, then we go back to SGC where Daniel's like, why don't we just take the alien home so at least it'll die with its own people?
Yeah. Daniel. That's
Um,
fine.
it's fine. Luckily, we know that he's fucked up, so like it's
Right.
fine. But then he just keeps studying the tapes to try to find out what's happening. And he and Jack are fighting again, and he's like, my headache's back.
Hmm.
So he leaves and he goes to see Janet, but as soon as he's with Janet, everything's fine again. And he finally realizes that it must be something on the video, aka it must be something on the planet.
Yeah.
And so they're reviewing the video, and Sam is like, oh, well, you know what could possibly be transferred in a video? Sound. Because it's not air, it's not something you're breathing. Can't transfer that in a video. You're not sick from looking at something.
Right, right.
So, the sound on the tape is what's making them sick. But the alien on base is getting worse. Uh, so, and then as they're trying to figure out what exactly is going on, the gate activates and Teal'c comes through and he's really sick. And Teal'c explains what happens on the planet, and then Daniel, like, finally at 40 fucking minutes into this episode, is like, oh, I got it now. Um, then the team explains what happened like a few times.
Yeah.
Like they repeat the solution like 3 times in 3 different ways, just in case you didn't hear it the first time. Because when they apparently the plants themselves emit some kind of low level frequency that we can't really hear, but we can but we can hear the vibrations, we just can't consciously hear it.
Mhm.
And it is like it's making us nauseous, like humans nauseous, but like also when we hit the plant, we change the frequency, and that's what's making the other people sick. And it's the same as like sound poisoning, where you're just like vibrations are fucked up and it makes you nauseous and headaches and all that stuff. So they go back to the planet and they set up frequency transmitters to help heal the village. And they know that they fucked up the frequency, but they don't actually know how.
Right.
But Sam does. And Sam just keeps saying, I've got a hunch, I've got a hunch, I've got a hunch. And then at the end, turns out her hunch was right, and that the plants are part of the frequency situation. And everyone's like, huh, Sam, how did you know that? And she's like, okay, guys, I just talked to my plants, okay? And then the episode ends. And I was like, what the fuck did we just watch?
You missed my favorite scene though, whenever
Oh,
they started shrinking down into what I thought were snowballs at first, then they looked like mushrooms. And the alien is demonstrating, and he's like, Daniel's actually, did you see that? And he just gets like bending down.
oh
Like,
yes, that's when Jack
yeah.
and Teal'c are like, what are you talking about?
And I just thought that was the funniest, weirdest interaction.
Oh, absolutely. Every time that alien was trying to communicate with them, I was like, what is happening?
Mhm, mhm.
Um, but then again, for the entire episode, I was like, what is happening?
Right. No, the amount of times I just like stopped writing it down because I was like, I can't. This is weird. I don't know what's going
Yeah,
on.
yeah,
I
yeah,
was like, I
yeah.
can only write that so many times.
Correct. Um, who do you want to punch?
I want to punch Jack
That's fair.
because he was not very open to what was going on. And he kept trying to be like, well, we're just not going to do anything about it. We're not going to do this or we're not going to do that. It's just like follow through. And then he started getting angry all the time because of the sickness. But he was just very obstinate the entire episode, it felt like.
That's very true. I would like to punch Doctor, not Doctor. General Hammond. Because he was really just like kind of cool with the idea that they were just gonna like go in there and get all these people sick and then like
Leave.
leave.
Uses. Yeah.
And I'm not really cool with that.
That's fair. That's fair.
Yeah, who is your MVP?
Dr. Janet.
Good, yeah.
Because she just wanted everyone to be well all the time. She did the best she could every time she was there. And I just love her.
I'm gonna pick Sam because she is the only one who thinks about plants as living creatures in this whole episode.
I love it.
So,
I love it. Use some logic.
yeah. Um, Unfortunately, there's no trivia for this episode,
Oh
which is fine because that would have required someone to try to think about this episode.
my God, yes.
And the fact that we just made a podcast episode about this episode is more than I can take.
It's okay. I'm pretty sure it's the shortest episode in all of existence.
Probably. But also like Merry Christmas, here's a fever dream.
Right. Merry Christmas. You don't really have a long time to listen to us today, anyways.
That's fair. That's fair. But like spend the rest of Christmas break catching up on all the other episodes.
And you can watch Hemlock Grove. Don't forget on the new site that it's on.
Oh yeah, which I cannot remember what that
You
site
can
is called.
Google it and it will
Uh,
come up. Don't forget that Stargate has switched to Freevee as opposed to Netflix. And
oh no, it's not freebie, it's just Amazon Prime. So there it's regular.
right, it's just Amazon Prime,
Yeah.
but it is on Amazon, no longer on Netflix. And Bates Motel is still hanging out on Peacock.
What is the name of this fucking streaming site?
I don't
Um,
remember. It was one I had never heard of before.
yeah, because it's like a newer thing
But yeah, if you wanna get used
you
to
know what? I
Netflix
think
and
it's
then we can
not, it's going to be, but it isn't yet. That's the issue.
oh
So it's not,
well that's fine. Catch up on our other seasons and then whenever it comes up, whenever it gets ready, you can go watch it and get caught up on
exactly.
Famke Janssen and Bill Skarsgård before watching Boy Kills the World.
Yeah, exactly.
'Cause the world's not weird enough as it is.
Um, yeah, with that, you can send us your Christmas wishes and your yearbook quotes at
Favorite quotes.
deafandaliens@gmail.com. You can also follow us on any of the social medias at Deaf and Aliens. You can follow me everywhere at EMKAY_superstar.
And you can follow me at CE Cloud 13.
And we will see you on Thursday for the last episode of 2022.
My God, it is.
Yeah,
Wow.
that means that,
Ah,
and that 2022 is the full year of you and me doing the show together.
hey, it's us. I hope you guys love it. You guys love us. We love you.
We love you. Yeah. So, Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
Bye.